Hello, Gumtown, and today we're at Alabama State University, and we're with some students and a teacher who attended the Million Man March in Washington, D.C. We're here with Mr. Corey Muhammad, he was a college reading teacher, Shater Knight, who's a criminal justice major from Montgomery, Janelle Graham, who's an English major from Florida, and Devin Smith, who's a accounting major from Atlanta, Georgia. How y'all doing today?
Fine.
That's good. That's good. Well, thanks for taking the time out your busy schedule to talk to us about the Million Man March. Now, tell us about your experience at the Million Man March. Like, how was it for you?
Well, for me, I love the everybody being together, the unity, everybody coming together as one for a common goal. We see all these negative images of black people all the time on the media, and it's nice to come somewhere where it was nothing but love. You know, from the moment we stepped on there until when the minister had all of us hug each other and tell each other that we love one another as brothers and sisters as we are. So just that energy, it was a charge we needed to keep going.
That's good. That's good. Anybody else want to share?
Yes, like Janelle said, the love, the unity, and it not only amongst black people, but amongst a bunch of other races.
Mm-hmm.
Native Americans, all races all around the world. You got to meet people that you never met before from different places and different countries as well. So it was about the unity as a whole.
That's great. That's good. Now, the theme of the Million Man March was justice or else. What does that mean to you all?
Well, Justice or Else was a call by the Honorable Louis Farrakhan in commemorating the 20th anniversary of the Million Man March.
Mm-hmm.
Because as you know, first of all, our long 400 plus sojourn here in America, black people have never been given justice, along with our Native American brothers and sisters. But then just most recently, you've seen the constant killing by police officers and non-indictments by grand juries or juries not making people guilty, seeing black people and other indigenous people not being treated fairly when it comes to the law, discrimination in jobs, etc. So at some point, people have to say enough is enough. So Minister Farrakhan was echoing that call that, hey, we have to have justice or else. And so part of that or else is, as he called and said, that black people must organize our resources, like Dr. King called for economic withdrawing and boycotting. And so part of the justice or else is that if you all don't want to give us justice, we got to redistribute the pain, as Dr. King said, and boycott these businesses, especially during Christmas season, and let it be known that black people have leverage in this country, and that one of the or else's will be that we'll pull our dollars away from supporting you, and as we should be, and support our own. But that's part of the or else.
Mm-hmm. That's great. Would anyone else like to add on or piggyback?
Pretty much said it perfectly.
All right. Now, to the college students, as a student, like, how will you apply what you learned from the Million Man March in your personal life and your professional lives? How will you apply it?
Well, as a college student, being in unity, coming in together as a school, even though we had to organize ourselves to get to Washington,
Let that be known.
we had, we had to organize ourselves and use our own funds to get to Washington. But as a whole, as students, anything we want, we could achieve anything we want at the school by applying what the whole movement was about by bringing everyone together and coming together as a common cause for a bigger purpose in ourselves.
Do you all think that you could have received more support from like the school or the city?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Of course.
Yeah, I'm really proud of, we are part of an informal group called DIOP, D-I-O-P, which stands for Dedicated Intellectuals of Our People. And we get together on a weekly basis here on the campus on Wednesdays, in fact, and we discuss issues related to the black community. We watch, we read, or we have a guest speaker, but it's always focused on the black community. So, in our best interest and how we can use our collective intellectual talents to think about critical issues. And I'm proud to be a part of these brothers and sisters of students and community people too, who are not in school any longer. because we didn't get any assistance from our university. We tried, and I'm sure if the university could, I'm trying to be nice and politically correct, but it was a little bit disappointing to see, and I hope the other students talk about it, see other black colleges there by the droves. And Alabama State University, we had to put our own funds together. Students had to,
Oh, wow.
you know, we put our own funds to pay for our vans, pay for our gas, to pay for our hotels, to go to something that 1 million black people damn near showed up to, for something as historic as this. And you know, we talk about commemorating the March on Washington, we talk about commemorating the Montgomery bus boycott, but here was a group of Alabama State University students who put their own resources together and practiced collective work and responsibility, one of the principles of unity, Kwanzaa, and made it to DC. And we also had, I mean, I have to say, is we had help from the community too. We had businesses that donated.
Okay.
You know, Heritage Barbershop, Noah, Dr. Leon Davis, Mulberry Foot Care, Dr. Ace Anglin, a couple professors gave funds, Dr. Avis. So people also helped us, but it was primarily the efforts of the students, you know, who made this happen.
That's great. We have another question. What do you think about the fact that a lot of the mainstream media didn't cover the event? What's your take on that?
The media always tries to shape your mind. Period. So they're gonna show what they want what they want you to see, and I feel like the power that was within the Million Man March, had it been broadcasted to the extent that they released everything else, it would ignite fires within certain communities. And I feel like television as a whole is just a game. You know, we look at TV and we see what they want us to see, and we don't ask questions. We tried to post at the Million Man March, and our telephones weren't working. Everything was cut off.
Wow.
And then when we went to the hotel room, there was, what, a 15-second clip, maybe, of the entire event? And then in the newspapers, it was little clippings. It should have been front page, you know what I mean? So we have to start asking these questions as a people. What are we being shown on a regular basis, and why or why not are we being shown certain information? So you can see the power in the unity, because apparently it wasn't broadcasted.
Wow. Do you think with technology today and social media, there are ways, can social media help overcome some of those barriers? Do you think?
To an extent, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I would think to an extent, yes, because it can be a good thing, but it can be a bad thing. I think it's good for spreading out information, but we've gotten too comfortable behind the electronics. We're not in the streets doing anything. We're just reposting, and we're just hashtagging, but we're not actually constantly making things change, you know? So I think it could be good for letting people know what's going on, but it could also harm us because we're becoming detached as a unit.
I'd like to add on too. I think that, you know, I'd like to say something about the first question that you asked. I think it also shows that there is a such thing as a conspiracy. You know, people get locked up for drug charges for conspiracy. So most of the time when we hear the word conspiracy, we think the word conspiracy, what? Theory. But there are conspiracies out here. And for it to be almost 1 million people or hundreds of thousands of black people in Washington, D.C. for that type of event, and for it not to be covered, that had to be a coordinated event, because it would be impossible for free news media not cover that. It'd be impossible to miss it. And it goes to show you too, I think that social media in this instance won, because black people still found out about it, because people did post, people did broadcast, etc. So there was a saying, I think Zygmunt Brzezinski once said, that there used to be a time when it was easier to kill 1 million people than it was to control 1 million people. But we're now at an age where it's easier to kill 1 million people than to control 1 million people, because now with this modern technology, it's hard to control people, because they can text out, they can Facebook, they can FaceTime, they can Twitter. So I think in this instance, social media was one of the weapons, and and tools that was used to overcome the whiteout of the media, you know.
That's good. That's good. And another question, when Minister Farrakhan was speaking, is there a certain point that he made that was that's sticking with you that you will never forget, like a specific point?
Yes, I can remember him saying about black women using the word bitch
Mm-hmm.
to refer to each other, and he said that should be tossed out of our language, and which was right because I'm guilty of it as well. But I'm a work in progress.
Mm-hmm.
But also he told us about black men using the word nigga. That should be thrown out. That should be thrown out of our language because we shouldn't accept that word because it wasn't one of our words that we normally use. So just to downgrade yourself by using that word, so that's something that really stuck out to me. And the women that he brought on stage also stuck out to me, saying that women need to cover up and learn how to be women again because whatever we are now is totally just the opposite of what we used to be and what we was brought up to be. So that what really stuck out to me. The
That's
women,
good.
the words that he said about women.
That's good.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone else would like to share?
Maybe the topic, basically the United States is at the end of the day, it's always going to be God's rule down. So it doesn't matter in fact that anything, if it's meant to be, it's going to be. So you can carry that throughout your life and every day. I might not have got this opportunity, but something's going to pop up because whatever's meant to be is meant to be.
That's good.
For me, it was how he said that we need to turn the nonviolence idea that Dr. King had, not towards other people, but towards those who are hurting black people, the indigenous people, those who are in these same circumstances. If we learn how to practice that same nonviolence that we always had in us towards each other, then we will be okay.
That's good.
And for me, so many things, but one of the things that stuck out was the actual reminding us of the fact that, hey, we are the apple of God's eye as a people, and that America owes us justice, and that God is intent on us getting justice. That really stuck out to me because a lot of times we can see other nations and other groups of people getting treated fairly and getting justice, but we don't ever ask the question, what are black people's and Native Americans' role in the quest for getting justice? And also how he called out, without calling any names, I guess, the old Negro leadership line who was not there, that black youth no longer was listening to them because they were being bought and paid for. And that stuck out to me too, because if you can see how young people are moving today, young people and people in general are saying that, hey, we want justice, we want a change. And from Ferguson to Baltimore, you can hear that in the people's spirit.
Well, that's good. Well, once again, we want to thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us today and sharing your experience with the Million Man March. You tune in to Gumptown TV. You can log on to YouTube and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Gumptown Magazine. We're on Facebook, Gumptown. You can like our page, Gumptown Magazine. Follow us on Twitter at Gump334Town and on Instagram at Gumptown_mag. You tune in to Gumptown TV. Stay connected.